Welcome to Under the Onion Skin, the podcast to get closer to independent animation directors and get to know some behind the scenes of their short films. My name is Giulia, and each time I talk to a different director about a short film they made. With this podcast, I hope to be able to capture a glimpse of what I love mostly about festivals, to have something to listen to when we're back to our regular lives, but above all to celebrate beautiful films, talented artists and storytellers. Welcome to Under the Onion Skin. Today's episode was recorded in January 2024 in Solothurn during the Solothurner Filmtage Film Festival. This time I'm talking to Pedro Nel Cabrera Vanegas, Colombian director who graduated in Switzerland with the short film Tapir Memories. In this episode, among other things, we talk about animation inspired by real political events and character design. Enjoy your screening?
Yes, so many. And yes, my last screening was on Sunday.
Yes.
And it was better because it was at midday. So there were more people there.
Before it was in the morning?
Yes, at 9. So now it was full. And yes, at the end, I'm always happy when someone approaches me and say, I loved your film because it touched me, you know? And this is very important for me because during my whole process of discovering like my art, in this case animation or making films, it was a struggle. I studied design, and then when I came to Switzerland to study film, then it was like hitting my head with a big rock and just falling down. And now, like, looking back and also at the results, then it's quite satisfying for me. It makes me happy, push me a lot of energy inside to continue with other ideas.
But you mean hitting your head with a big rock in terms of like technical work?
Yeah, cinematic, cinema, grammar, all these kind of things.
I mean, it is impressive to think that you, before you had a design background, and so this is your first animated films.
Yeah, in theory, yes, but I was working personally.
Okay.
At the moment, I think I have developed like 3 more projects, but they are just out. I never tried to put them online or to send them to festivals. There is a small short film. That one is like in theory my first one, and I did it when I was studying the master. And it's just 2 minutes, and it was made in 2 months. Alone, yes, with a friend. He helped me with animation, but it was all alone, and I was more like putting in practice all my knowledge that I was gaining during my studies, because it was more self-study, like reading and analyzing, and to discover those tools that allows me to be more precise.
Yeah, also because during the master they don't teach technical stuff, right? It's not like practical classes.
I mean, there are some courses that you can go and focus on, and also the bachelor has some courses, but it's up to you how much you want to go and how much you want to learn. That's the thing.
But for this one, did you manage to get some help for the animation, or did you have to animate it by yourself?
I pitched in the university, in the school, and I got like 3 or 4 people. They helped me with 3 shots, very small amount, yes. But I always had the help from a friend. He is an animator from Colombia, Pablo Viejo, and he was my
buddy.
My buddy, my big hand, my shoulder, for everything. And I also wrote to a school in Colombia, Universidad Jorge Tadeo, to Diego. I have never met before him, and we agreed to work. He liked the idea, and I pitched the project to the students, and he has like, I think it's called like, it's not part of the class, but there are students that work for projects around, and they fall in love with my project. So I got to know like 10, and they helped me to animate around 1 minute 50 seconds.
It's great.
Yeah. And from this group, I select 2 they were the best for me for cleanup. That is Catherine, a girl. She's amazing. She just adapted very fast her style to my line. And with Pablo and me, we did cleanup.
Yeah.
So that was like and backgrounds only with Pablo. And the rest was from myself.
And I noticed there was a very specific cleanup. Like I noticed, for example, close to the ears, the line is not closed.
Yes, so you have to... The coloring, yes, I also select some students from Colombia. Mm-hmm. I had 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And just with the guys, lines, and all the instructions, that they follow everything in detail. Because, yes, you couldn't fill out very fast. No, it was... frame by frame.
Yeah, you couldn't just click and fill. Okay.
Yeah.
But so this means it was a very remote work because most of your crew was in Colombia.
Yes, yes. There was also a girl from Peru. Okay. She is living in France, and I also have a friend in a good friend from my childhood, Mauro. He's living in Miami, so it was like a lot of control, management, and this takes so much time.
And how was it for you?
For me, I think it was the best experience because I know now how those things can be managed, and also to deal with the people with the emotions. Sometimes they say, no, I couldn't finish. Okay, let's have another chance. And then at the end I say, okay, if you cannot do it this time, I will take it. And then that's what I did because I had the final time for delivering to the school for the presentation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's quite a journey. And sorry, I don't remember. Did you do the master full-time or part-time?
I started full-time.
Yes.
And then due to some private situation in my life, I decided to prolong it to part-time. So I did
Was it part-time studying better for the film?
I think yes, because I could do the film without pressure.
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of time to plan, to think, to reflect, and to also to have some help or to ask the school, because the school was very supportive. For instance, with the editing, they support me with some advice for the editing, and I had a lot of meetings. And at the end, he was helping me, and the hours from the school were off. So he did it for free for me for the film.
Who did it?
Dominic Garrick.
Okay.
He was my advisor in editing.
Yes.
That was also a long process, a lot of editing before animation and coloring and all these things. Yes.
I noticed it's been already quite a little bit around in festivals and also in Colombia. Mm-hmm. I don't think you had the chance to go there, but did you hear about some feedback from Colombia?
Yes, by the way, I had the chance to go.
You went?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes, it was a month ago.
Okay.
I was in December in Bogota. Yes, being 4 years in Switzerland and coming back to your house is quite
I didn't know.
exciting. Everything is like resetting you and boosting you. Mm-hmm. And yes, it was well received there. I couldn't participate in the national competition. I wanted to be in the national, but due to some rules from Swiss films that they support me, the commitment from Bogo Shores, they decided to put me in the international.
Because it was Swiss produced.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and at the end I could go and enjoy the festival and get to know a lot of filmmakers and also some production companies.
It's very nice that you managed to go, because the other day we were talking and you told me, that how coming to Switzerland was like coming to a parallel universe or in a dream. And it's very nice that you managed to actually go back to your homeland for a while.
Yes.
And actually, when I was watching the film, I was wondering, because I heard about your Heimweh, so your missing home, if somehow the choice of the topic and going back to stories from Colombia was also a way for you to think about your homeland, to reflect about it even more from a further perspective.
Yes, I think the idea came across a long time ago, around 7 years, the idea of making a film about the conflict with families who flee or who suffer the consequences of the war. So this idea was already there, and of course, if you leave the place, then you have a bigger panorama of your country, of your people. So for me, that was very nice and very helpful in somehow when I started to develop Tapir Memories, because I could see it in a bigger picture, you know.
Yeah.
But I was in somehow not affected like directly, because as I say, this is more like my overview, my perspective about Colombian families, and I wanted to portray this. And I think, yes, animation is the tool that offered me this chance to tell this tragic story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah, I also agree animation is a good tool for this kind of content.
Yes.
And I think you did it very nicely, also choosing the design and the characters. It's a delicate topic, right? So it's very important to know how to handle it.
Yes. Yes. For me, tapirs is a very, very mysterious animal for me when I see it, when I observe it. Being a kid, it was even stronger, this feeling. So nowadays, I still have this feeling. Like, when I see them, you see the eyes, and they have some mysterious, but at the same time, some sadness. And it matched me perfect with the story, because the mom, as you saw it in the film, had this tragedy.
I thought about it. I don't know
Yes.
much about tapirs, but when I saw the design and I recognized the animal, I thought it's the perfect melancholic animal. It really has a melancholic face.
Yeah, and especially the eyes with and also the nose. And because I interviewed an expert, a biologist in Colombia, who is also part of my research about the animal, he told me everything about them. Like, for instance, they only get birth to one calf, and then the mother is separated along with the calf, and the guy goes away, and she's just along with him until he is able to survive and to eat by themselves.
And this was
And
also
it has
perfect.
a very important role in the nature.
Yeah.
Because this animal, they spray the seeds that they eat, and they put it in another place to reinforce the jungle.
And they are now endangered.
Yes, since 20 years they are in danger of extinction, but they are somehow protected a little bit. No, it was really something special, and still this is a very special animal. My next project for children is gonna be with tapirs, but small. You know the idea that I told you with 5. They are
How
very
do you
cute.
say
You know?
tapir in Spanish?
Tapir.
Sí, tapir.
Tapir. Yes.
So you already knew that you wanted to talk about this, and it makes sense because it's a very, crucial part of Colombian history. But did you know it already when you started the master that you wanted to do it as a project, as a master project?
Yes. By the way, when I came to Switzerland, I did the sculptures. I started with the characters when I was there. And I developed the character design, but they are a little bit different than the ones that you saw in the film. They have, for instance, more human-like appearance, and at the end, I wanted to keep them more animal-like, like shorter legs, heavier, and keeping more the expression of them, not putting human emotion or human expressions. So, the idea was already molded there, and when I came here, it was more the challenge to find the way how, because I had what, but I didn't know how. So, and that was the challenge during this time, to start to do like a research, and also to see how Colombia was or is in terms of conflict nowadays, to be able to solve some issues in my story, and also to be more neutral with the topic, because that's also my intention here. I don't want to point anyone, and those things, more like the philosophical aspect or ethical or moral, those were my challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine,
in the film.
But it's nice that being somehow far away from that place and gave you also the master the time to develop this, like with a little bit of calm and doing
Yes.
And
exactly.
then you did it after 7 years that it was in your mind.
Yes. But yes, I mean, the idea when I started was all the time in my head, and I started to read about political treatments, and also checking some children books, because my original idea was a mother with the children, a small one. and my target were supposed to be small kids.
Yeah.
But when I face this, this language, this acts in the film, like killing and hitting, all this, then I say no, I have to increase the age of the boy, and then the story turned out a little bit different. But yes, until I got everything like clear with the structure, with the story, then I say yes, I don't change it anymore. I think it's very tied up, like when you take treats and then you start to tie everything, and if you try to open it, then it's not possible. And if you remove a piece, then it will break the film, but you cannot add more. This is like my principle.
Everything is connected.
Yes, everything is connected everywhere. Like everything.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. But you mentioned you landed in the beginning to have a target audience for children. Why? What was your first intention?
I love children picture books, and it's been like in my style, and somehow in my art. I think it's a precious thing to show them something related to the history of Colombia. But as I say, when I face the level of the language and the level of the film regarding emotions and messages and all this, then I said no, it's not for small kids like 6, because they were my target. And then I decided 12, and then I was even more motivated because I was 12 when all this conflict happened.
Okay.
And at the end, yes, if I look back, nowadays those boys that are 12, they don't know anything. So there is a great opportunity with the film to show them a little bit about the history between 2001 or 2002 until 2008. During this period, the story takes place or is inspired.
It's great that in the end the character, the kid character, ends up being your age at that time.
Yes.
Even if it was probably not planned in the beginning, I think it's a good thing for the film.
Yes.
And for you.
And yes, it gave me a lot of resources, a lot of creativity, because I empathize more with him. I could feel more like him and develop better the character. And sometimes it was very challenging because I have to be on her feet, and then I have to be in the feet of the mother. But the more I always saw her like my aunt or my mom or my granny or a friend who I know. But the boy, I think, in the film is the one that I could empathize a lot, and you see what happened in the film.
Yes.
Yeah,
even if he's not the main character, because the main character is the mother, but still, yes, it's a very important one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And do you have those memories from when you were 12? Like, for example, those posters around the city or...
Yes, look, I think it's been 20 years, around 25 years since then. Nowadays there are still communities, mothers looking for their museums, for their loved ones.
Yes.
And yes, as a kid I was more present for the cause, no effect but cause. So, and nowadays is the effect of this,
Yes.
During the time, how those mothers are. Yes, I grew up in a farm, and I was witness, or yes, from many of those events that you can see in the film. But I didn't want to tell my story. I did want to tell the panoramic story of Colombia.
Yes,
more
yes.
like an X-ray of the conflict.
Yeah, I think that's what it looks like. Yes.
Yeah, and it was also nice because during the process I got to know 3 women that they belong to these communities. That nowadays they are still fighting against the system to look for the kids or for their disappearance people. Thanks to them, I also could solve it somehow in a truthful way the story at the end.
So did you research during the master in order to find these women, to interview them or to talk to them?
Exactly. I have their interviews.
Yeah.
And then I listened the audios, and I was analyzing also like psychological aspects, how they are now, and that was like the end, that you see in my film. And they were very supportive and open also to speak, because it's such a long time now. At least they like the idea. So that was one side. And the other side was during my master's, I did my written thesis about analysis of the kids in war, like during 100 years of history in Colombia. So I analyze films that deal with war. The kids are used for those. So it was also like a good tool for me to discover films that I have never seen before, and to integrate some elements and narratives for this.
So this makes your short film an animated documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Is it here in this festival? Is it called like?
No,
Probably.
but that was a suggestion from the jury.
Yeah.
At the end, they say that is both. It's not completely documentary, but also not completely fiction. Fiction, I mean, the word, yes, is kind of difficult to decide.
Yeah, I think it could be definitely defined documentary. I wanted to check in the program if do you know where it is?
Mine is Talent 1. This Talent 1.
Yeah. No, there are not many details.
No.
Okay.
But you know what I realized? That in this category, in this competition, this is the only one in animation.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Yes, you told me, but that's very great.
Yeah, because...
I remember I told you when you were going to the screen that you all do the flag of animators.
Yes.
No, I think it's very good in festivals like this one. Live action and animation are mixed, and very often animation is in minority. It's very nice when animation is recognized somehow on the same level, because very often they are in separate programs.
Yes, I was also very happy and like impressed, surprised.
Yeah.
To be able to share with the other amazing films here.
Yeah. So you had some exchange with live action folks.
Yes, exactly. All of them. Yes, with all of them. And somehow I always saw my film like this. I mean, when I create something, I always see like a story, I think the medium sometimes choose the story, sometimes choose the medium, So that's why I always see the story, and it doesn't matter if you tell it in a book, if you tell it in animation or live action or whatever, but it's the same. It's something human, something that gives you some insights about life,
Yes.
and so I think it was like nice to see my film with live action films here. Yeah, it's very nice.
Is there, in the whole process of making this film, was there a lot of ups and downs, like great moments and bad moments, or was it a linear, easy path?
But you mean with the story or with me emotionally?
Whatever, like, I'm wondering how was it for you?
No, I think for me it was a big discovery. A big discovery.
Yeah.
It was like every time I was surprised.
Yeah.
When I was discovering something new. Because as I say, I was learning making films.
Yes.
So when I got to know, for instance, how to use flashback in a film, I read the book from Kendrick, and he has a very good examples. And then I said, wow, now I can play more with the structure, and to use the flashback for the mom, or when I found some more symbolic elements to compress time. All those things were for me like surprising me every time.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed very much the very beginning, like the first year when I was doing the research, and at the same time writing or drawing the story, because I did it both ways. And yes, as I say, then when I went to the editing, it was also a discovery, because to play with the sound, to play with the music, to play with the rhythm, to say, well, I want that the people feel a little bit here this, and then you put that. So all those things. I mean, it was only, I think, when I started to deal with the animators, because I never had the chance to have a team with 10 people, and also to manage my big document with all those in Excel, with all those shots, 190 shots, 19 almost 120 shots, and all this list there. So I would say yes, it was more enjoyable.
But that's nice, you took this as a challenge or also like a learning experience, so it's the best way, I guess.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say that. No, for me everything was enjoyable. Yes, I'm learning very much and happy when I was looking at the screen and the results. And at the very end, was even like when you are reaching the final line in a
race,
in a race or
yes.
in running, and then you see there the big picture with the color, with the sound, and then you say, "Wow!" Then it's like you have the last breath, and then you even push harder.
That's a very good description of the animation marathon.
Yes,
indeed.
Yeah. Although the thing is that animation, or yes, when you work alone, I have also another example, and it's also very sad because you are there with the pencil alone, and you don't have anyone who is clapping. Vamos, you can do it.
Yes.
It's only yourself. It's only yourself in your head saying, "Look, vamos, 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 vamos." And
you have to keep the motivation up.
Yes, and if you see any sport, you have a lot of people, and somehow they push you.
Yeah, you know what they say, that animation is like telling a joke and waiting for 5 years to hear someone laugh.
Okay, that's true.
Quite true.
That's true. Yes.
You mentioned the other day that you also had you built your studio, you had some solitary work.
Yes,
Where was
exactly.
it? In Asilo?
In Asilo, yes.
Yes.
I live.
Can you tell us something about that?
I live in a farm, and due to the winter, and I have a small apartment, so I have to put my office in another place, and my neighbor helped me to build up the office like with an oven because it was winter when I started, and sometimes in the morning it was minus 15, and it took 1 hour to go 8.
Wow.
To go 8. And I couldn't move to another place because, yes, Lucerne is 1 hour and a half, and it was winter, and I had to present results for the school. So I was like, I think those days were pressure due to the time, but not for me, just more like with the time for the school to finish. So that was something very, very particular during the process. To draw with your hands that you cannot move the pencil, and it hurts. Yes, and I had to take all the equipment, the Cintiq, all my things, my stuff to the house, and then again install it in the next day.
Also quite funny, I think, to draw with a frozen hand, some kind of tropical environment. And I thought it was because of COVID and pandemic, but it was mainly like a schedule or logistic reason why you worked from home.
Yes, more because I enjoy more working at home. You have everything close, the bed, the food, and yes, and as I say, the school is 1 hour from there. I cannot lose 2 hours every day. When I was, investing like 15 hours some days, and just in one,
Tell me about it.
You know this.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say about this film?
I think I say in the beginning that it makes me happy when people say, I like your film because it moved me, it provokes me something inside. So I think this is at the moment my wish, and to reach as much people as the film can do. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very touching film. Mm-hmm. As I said before, very delicate because you managed to touch very crucial and delicate topics, but in an elegant way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes. I hope the same. Well, yes, the film just do the work.
Yeah.
And when I came to here, to Switzerland, I was just studying.
Yeah.
No festivals. And now with Tapir Memories, I've been at least in 3.
That's great.
Yes.
Which ones?
Fantoche, Bogo Shorts, and Solo Tour.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice.
So far, yes.
Yeah, hopefully more soon. I always have, maybe because you already listened to some episodes, but I always ask about onions in the end. And by the way, I should change this question from now on for the second season. So do you have some onion recipe to share?
I like with oil.
Yes.
And I like with tomato. We have in Colombia ogo. We say ogo is a tomato mix.
Okay.
And you can add it to pataconas. Is another recipe from Colombia with guacamole, and on the top these onions with tomato.
And the onions are raw or cooked?
Yes, and they are raw, but with a little bit of water and salt in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because then it's too spicy. Fresh onions.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Of course.
And
Of course.
It's very nice.
I'm happy. I'm so glad I had this opportunity to talk to Pedro about his work, which I hope you found inspiring. You can connect with Pedro with the links in the show notes and make my day by rating, hopefully positively, the show. This was Under the Onion Skin. Thank you for listening, and until next time, with another director and a short animated film. Ciao!